Hello everybody, this is your student Facebook meteorologist Sean Bagden here, and we're going to be going over the, hold on, we don't have it up yet. Oops. There we go. Alright, we're going to be going over the day 2 forecast for Glens Falls, New York, for the National Weather Challenge here. So far through day 1, if our low temperature is realized tonight, our high temperature will end up being 53, our low will be 43, our wind will be 6 knots, and our precipitation will be 0.30 inches, which is going to leave the Extreme Tornado Tours team at, it's going to be leaving us at the following position right here. We'll be leading at 267th place out of about 800 forecasters for this city after day 1, and we will be, 509th overall out of 800, so we'll definitely need to improve on that minus 1.18 ranking, although it is above national consensus, which is a good thing here, but definitely we'll need to improve on that. Alright, so we're going to start out with what is currently going on right now. We currently have our deepening area of low pressure associated with the remnants of Hurricane Delta here, right off of the New England coastline, right off Rhode Island here, it looks like right now. And there's a sharp back edge to our moisture gradient right here across the Champlain Valley of Vermont and New York and down into the Hudson River Valley. This, on visible imagery, is showing a very sharp back edge to the cloud deck right here, as we can see back here towards the Utica area, and this will lead to rapidly clearing skies and decreasing humidity through the nighttime hours tonight. This will allow for temperatures to drop rather quickly, except for the fact that we may have some wind here in the low levels and some moisture kind of lingering down in these lower levels as well, which may allow temperatures to stay a little higher than expected here. So, with looking at this, looks like a sunny day tomorrow with rapidly rising temperatures, likely going to go on the high end of guidance here and the low end of the overnight guidance for either tonight or tomorrow night here, depending on when the strongest cold air advection will be in place across the region. So looking at current conditions right now, we can see our temperature is hovering right at that 53 degree range with a dew point of 50 degrees right now. So we're going to bring this over to the NAM 3K model and see where this puts us currently. We're actually going to go to 21 UTC. That'll be a little bit better. Oh, it is 21 UTC, so perfect timing here. So currently temperature is 53 degrees, and our dew point is in the low 50s, or at 50 degrees right now. So looking at current conditions per the models, this will be the M3K we initially look at here. We show that the temperature is way below what is expected according to the NAM, and with way below what we were expecting for the dew point here. So we're going to have to make some adjustments for this on the high side. Looks like we're going to have to increase our temperature here by, what is that? That's a full 6 degrees. Very interesting. So 3, I would increase this by about 5 degrees right here, given our rule of 50%. So that would be 5 degrees warmer than this model will end up showing, and for our low and 5 degrees warmer for our high temperature. So we're going to step this through right now and see what that brings us to throughout the night tonight. See what ends up happening, and we can see this dry air really starting to push into the area overnight here, but with that low level moisture really lingering and holding tight through the overnight hours here. But temperatures really starting to drop off into those low 30s here, or those mid 30s here. Looks like they dropped down to about that 37 degree range. That would be around 42 degrees, which I could see being possible given this low level moisture in place. But we'll see what the next night brings, as it does appear that time frame will be a little bit drier, allowing for those rapidly decreasing temperatures as the sun goes down. And here we go. Temperatures falling to, okay, 45 degrees. It does look like we have some moisture and thick cloud cover coming in aloft, but right at the surface, very dry air in place. So we're going to start out with our initial forecast being 42 degrees for a low right now. We'll see how that compares to other models right here. I do think that is a little bit high. We'll have to see if anything else does a better representation of these temperatures. Looks like here 63 degrees for that high temperature. We're going to have to add some points onto that just due to the fact that we have that very low bias early on here. So that brings us up to about a 68 degree high for the day tomorrow. And we can also assume that precipitation is going to remain at 0 for the day tomorrow, just given the fact that we have this very dry air anchored in at the surface as of right now, and especially by the time 6Z comes around. So we can expect 0 inches of precipitation through the day tomorrow. That'll be the easy part of the forecast here. It appears like wind is going to be the hard part, according to this right now. Today it stayed very light compared to what is normal. I do think that is because of the inversion that was in place. So we really weren't seeing much in the way of a mixed layer here, bringing those higher winds aloft to the surface. Okay, here we go. Mixed layer looks like it goes away right at about the 850 millibar level. That's where we can expect the energy to be transferred to the ground right here. And looks like that layer is right around that 20 knot range. So 60% of, hold on everybody, 60% of that 20 knots aloft here is going to be about 12 knots at the surface, which seems pretty reasonable given this hodograph right here showing around that 10 knots of wind. So I think 12 knots as of right now seems pretty reasonable, and that is right about what the average wind is for this time of year across the area. So we're going to go over and have a look at some other models right now just to make sure we are on the right track. So again, we're going to start out at that 21Z time frame right here. I believe that's 6 hours out. Oh, that's 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay, here's 21Z. Let's see what this brings us. Okay, this is a little bit better here. Dew point was 50. This is 53. Was that 1.5? So we'll call that 2. And 3. So it's about 3 degrees off right here. So we'll increase our temperatures by about 3 degrees here as we get near our low temperature. Seems a bit more reasonable. Especially, I do think our temperatures do stay a little bit higher tonight than what the National Weather Service is expecting, just because of the subsidence inversion really locking in moisture right below the surface. I think we will have a fog and stratus deck in place that really limits how far our temperatures can drop tonight. Looks like our temperatures drop into those, wow. Incredible how far this drops our temperatures tonight. Down to 36 it appears. Yep, 36 degrees it drops it down to. Again, that does seem a little bit low. Oh, 35. That's incredible. Okay, so 35 plus 3 is going to be that 38 degree range. Let's see if we can continue to have consistency at either that 42 or 38 degree range, because that is a very big range in forecasted values here. Let's go up here to 36 hours out, and this will show us a good idea of if this low temperature is going to decrease any more through the night on the backside of this forecast period right here. And it looks like it may, according to this, it's very close. Looks like warm air advection kicks in late in the period with a system approaching from the west and moving east. May produce a few rain showers through the next period here, but really not seeing much in the way of significant cooling on the backside of this here. So we're going to end up adding 3 degrees to this final high temperature here, and this seems to have some spread to it as well, topping out at, what is that, 62 degrees? Yeah, 62. So you add 3 to that and you end up with 65. So that's interesting. We'll see where we get some consistency here. So we really don't have that consistency. And then we have that 20 knots yet again just above the surface here. So I think it seems reasonable that we go for that 12 knot wind through the day tomorrow. Seems reasonable. Yeah. 12 knots. I don't know. We'll have to go a little deeper on that. But I think right now 12 knots looks pretty reasonable right now. Especially given that sounding right there. Maybe might go 11. 11 might be better. Nah, we'll stay with that for now and see what happens. I think that seems pretty reasonable for right now. Then we have this one other model that we like to go with. It's the NSSL H-Wharf right now. 21Z version of this is showing again that cold bias of about 3 degrees here. So we have that 2 and 1, which is right about, yeah, we'll call that 3 degrees yet again, because it's pretty similar to what we were seeing before. See what that temperature drops down to yet again. And it looks like this is going to stay a little on the warmer side here, especially really locking in that moisture at the surface. That's a thick fog and stratus deck that we will have if this ends up panning out right here, temperatures will stay quite warm overnight if this ends up panning out. But again, it does erode that closer to the morning hours, and temperatures really start to drop off right around sunrise here. And it looks like we'll be approaching that 43-ish degree range, 42 right there. And then I'd imagine temperatures start to rise. Yes, they do. Right around that 39 degree range. So that also confirms a temperature of 42 degrees for a low tonight. We will continue going on to the 36 hour right here and see what it brings for the evening hours tomorrow. See if our temperature drops off any more than that 42 degree mark, and it does not look like we are going to get that yet again. Let's go off into our high temperature territory though and see if we can regain some consistency there as well. And see if that 12 knot wind remains relatively consistent through the day tomorrow. Okay, high temperature reaching around 61 right there, and I think it's going to remain pretty steady. Yeah, there we go, 62. A lot of things showing that 62 right there. Okay, so that would end up reaching a high temperature of 65 degrees. Wonderful. Okay. And last one we're going to look at is the HER, which generally has a cold overnight bias because of that dry air. And again, yeah, there you go. Those winds really right around that 12 knot range at the surface there. So we're gonna stick with that for the time being right now. And we're going to go up to 21Z right now and compare that with our 53. Okay, this seems actually pretty reasonable right here. So 1 degree, we'll call this 2 degrees colder than what the HER goes right here. And hopefully this doesn't really split us up. I would hope not. I hope we get a consensus right here on this low of 42. That would be very nice. We'll take that 42 degrees to the house right here, right? And it looks like we are going to, ooh boy, very interesting. This is going to end up right down the middle. Drops it down to that 42, 41. 41, okay. Interesting. Brings it right to that 42, 41, so 39. Which happens to be directly in between these right here. Which is quite interesting. Huh. That did not make things much easier. I will tell you that much. High temperature reaching up to that 63 degree range. 64. Okay. Very interesting forecast we're going to have right here. Not really sure what we're going to do with that high and low temperature. So what we're going to do right now is go to that SPC mesoanalysis that we like so much, and we'll see what low-level moisture is currently doing in these areas right now, and hopefully that opens our eyes as to what's going to be going on here. very interesting setup we have going on, but I think this ridge of high pressure is going to build in, and we will be okay on that low-level cloud cover. Because really, look at these look at these very low dew points getting pushed into the area from the north right here. I can definitely see how we could erode away at any low-level clouds that want to hang around here. Looks like they're not hanging too tough in the region. This is going to be very interesting as to what happens here. Things could definitely drop out, that is for sure, as we have seen that before with their clear, dry nights here across the region. And with this northerly flow in place, I could see that occurring. Very interesting. I think we're going to head over to Brian Tang's site here and have a look at what this does for our lows. And yeah, you see this cluster right around 43 right here, which this is for this is for KGFL. Interesting, they did switch it around. So I think this 40 I do think this 42 degree range is definitely a reasonable spot to go, just given what's going on right here. Let's have a look. What has the GFS been trending for? Looks like the GFS has stayed pretty consistent with its temperatures here, but NAM has been consistently dropping that low temperature, likely because it is drying things out much quicker. But very good consistency with that high temperature right around 65 degrees right there. So I think we will remain with that 65 degree forecast right there. May bump that up to 66, but we will have to have a continued look at that through yet another forecast cycle here. I don't know why that just disappeared. Sorry about that, everybody. We will try to get our forecast back up. Gotta love live being live right here. So and then we had a 68. Okay, and we'll divide that by 3. Here's our hold on, everybody. 65, 65, 68, divide by 3. Okay, so that ends up leaving us with a high temperature right here, right around 66 degrees if we take the consensus. And I do want to be on the high side of that guidance right here because that warm air advection that comes in the afternoon. So I think 66 is going to be what I'm going with here. Going to go with that consensus estimate. That is for sure. And I think we're going to be better off taking the low road on this guidance, but definitely not going down to this 37 degree area. That does seem way too low here. So again, we'll take the consensus estimate of our adjusted models for this. Again, so we have 42, 38, 39, and 42. Good. 61. And we will divide that by 4, and we'll end up with that low temperature hanging right around that 40 degree mark right here, which does seem relatively reasonable given SPC mesoanalysis has these dew points getting down into the 30s back here. Definitely seems like a probable scenario that our dew points could drop to around 40 degrees there. There we go, right at midnight here. Temperatures already dropping into the mid 40s. So I think 40 is definitely a good shot right here. I think we'll stay with that 40-degree temperature. So we'll stick with that. It's kind of in the middle because I'm not really interested in being skewed either way as of right now. I don't really want to go down to that 38, and I really don't want to go up to that 42 because I think both scenarios are possible at this time. Precipitation, we will keep that at 0 inches as there is really not much in the way of precip. There are a few models showing some drizzle and fog amounting up to about 1/100 of an inch, but I think the odds of that are extremely low of happening here. Boundary layer wind at the 18Z runs does show us getting up to that 18 to 20 knot range here, which 60% of 18 is 18 times 0.6. That would bring us up to about 11 knots here. So I think that 12 to 11 knot range does sound reasonable for this outcome tomorrow. Again, here's the NAM or the GFS, brings us more up to the 12 knot range here. But I think that 11 knot does sound reasonable, given that that is a pretty average wind speed for this time of year, and tomorrow looks like a pretty average day as things go. So again, this is going to be our final forecast right now, and we will probably update this low temperature, may drop it down to 38 or up to 42, but the high temperature, I think we're definitely going to stay at that 66, and that wind will stay at 11. So that is our final update for the Day 2 forecast challenge for KGFL in New York. Have a great day, everybody.